everybody. Welcome back to Stone Faced Reactions. I'm Griffin, this is Theta, and we are here watching another episode of Tokyo 24th Ward. Last time, excitement, explosions, and, well, mostly them hanging out, eating, and talking about the festival, which is going to be the main thing happening this episode.
Explosions of emotion.
Yes! So,
Oh, to be fair though, there was an explosion last episode. It was the fire.
right, the fire, which is gonna keep coming up all the time. But yeah, it was definitely just a light drama episode. Everyone explained how they were feeling. It's a lot of them being traumatized by their friend's death, or really just like continuing to grieve for it lightly, even a year out. Like no one is like literally at tears at this point constantly forever, except I think like their main cook friend who seems to still be like very much thinking about it and like directly blaming themselves.
Because she was brought into the group from Asami.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, more like she was literally feet away before Asami ran away into the fire and she couldn't stop her.
No, the childhood playground scene from 10 years ago. Asami
Yeah.
is the one that said, "Hey, you want to play?" And when she was bringing them into everybody else, so she's the reason. Asami is the reason why she's even part and parcel of all this.
Mhm. Right, right. She's just part of the group, but I mean, she's still affected by it and seems affected by it the most. Everyone else is still doing it in their own way, but uh it's not the usual like drama of like someone is still completely broken down and can't get over it like 10 years on. It's like no, they pretty much have moved on with their lives
I don't know. You say
until
that.
they start hearing that their friend is actually alive and they start freaking because like that shouldn't be
You're
possible.
saying that, but Red kind of fits that description.
You think so?
Red was on his way to being a professional painter and had a normal everyday look about him. And then after her death, he's part of an underground government resistance project where he does laughing man face screens over his face so he can't be identified. And he has a group of followers from the underground.
Well, I mean, like, there's 2 points there. Like, in his flashback scene, he explicitly stated he didn't like being professional about it. And then Sumi went like, "Oh yeah, it's good whether or not it's legal or illegal. You're still good. Oh, by the way, you should totally stream this." And now he's doing it because she always has great ideas.
Well, no, it's my favorite character brought up the idea of.
Okay, okay, I must be confusing names then. My bad.
Well, no,
Golden
Asumi's my favorite character said that, and then Asumi's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea."
There we go.
That was basically the whole interaction with that. It was
Mhm.
someone said something, and Asumi's like,
Right, but, like, he's not, like, constantly under turmoil and grief, like, he seems the most well put together of everyone else.
"Oh,
He's
really? You
just
think the
doing
moment he stops drinking Red Bull, he's not going to break down?"
oh god.
I can't wait for the realization that he's been awake for the last year. So long as I stay busy, I don't have to deal with my grief, which is a
Oh, this
very
is
real coping mechanism that many people actually have.
absolutely terrible. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think that's the angle they're gonna go for.
Oh, really? You think that would be too unrealistic in this show about a dead girl communicating through a computer that predicts the
No,
future?
no, no. I don't think it's unrealistic, I just don't think that's what they're doing. That's just my
Hey,
analysis of
hey,
it.
I
That's
called the two guys that were trying to drive down sales prices for a condominium already in episode 1, apropos of nothing.
mhm.
I think I've got my line on this where the show is.
Yep. I'm still getting a direct beat on it, and so far I do have like a very positive feeling about the show. So I'm very happy with like where it seems to be going, and I can only hope it continues to like stay on message here, which
It's
will be
very
fascinating.
drastically revving between low and high stakes. Like,
Hmm.
oh god, we got to win the cooking tournament. Oh god, the contractors are possibly mafia and are gonna kill us all.
I
Oh
mean, like,
god, the computer which can maybe control or just predict the future is trying to kill us or save us. The stakes are between cool got the golden star on the cooking tournament versus we're all gonna die.
like in real life, like if you told me those three things were happening, I'd be like, yeah, two of those three are like exactly as expected.
I'm just saying that there's no telling what the actual stakes are. The only person that's actually died so far died in the past, and
Mhm.
possibly is not already dead. It's hard to tell. It's very much. I don't know. Hit you with another movie. I'm pretty sure you've never seen. Arcade.
Nope, not seen it.
Oh, Dead Boy's brain is put into a video cabinet, basically, video game cabinet, so that the game could be made better. So like the
Wow.
so like the little boy's brain is running the game, but it's actually killing people. But the point being
Okay,
that
so it is a horror movie.
yeah. It's like one of the very first ones that's like trying to show you a CGI virtual reality game where they
Mhm.
get pulled in and it shows you your worst nightmares as well.
Gosh, I can imagine like the '80s taglines, like you thought video games made you violent, but what if the game was violent and
Oh,
killed you?
it's one of those. It's really weird because they're in a video game, doing the
Mhm.
video game, and suddenly they'll flash back to when this girl, her mother committed suicide while her head was resting in her lap. Like literally, she's like, "Oh, mom," and then boom, shotgun to the head. Like it goes very weird, and it's
Wait a
also
second.
one of
It's
those.
it's '80s American horror isekai.
Sort. Well, I guess actually,
It's isekai.
technically, it is because at the end of the movie, spoilers if you didn't
Uh,
watch this movie 30 to 40 years ago.
mhm.
Uh, everybody thinks they win. They defeat the monster because this whole thing where like it's gloating over her, like it kills her in the game. It's like ha ha ha, but she got like an extra life somewhere early on, and she uses that to surprise kill the thing. And they're like all leaving and they're going home, and it's like all this stuff. And then she turns around and it's the little boy whose brain was used in the machine saying, "Do you want to play a game?" So the kind of conceit being that you're still in the fucking machine. You never won.
Yeah.
So it's very much,
Uh,
if you consider that to be trapped in another world, then yeah, you got isekai into a
yeah,
horror isekai.
that's hilarious. Um, so yeah, now that we've talked about a completely different movie, let's watch the episode.
Well, no, I brought that up because of the concept that I had talked about before about her being uploaded into the machine that Sarg is using to
Right,
predict the
right.
future. Because it's
Mhm.
obviously what's got to be happening. Some sort of serial experiments lane meets arcade.
Yeah, this is like the fifth time we've mentioned at this point. So when are we gonna start that watch through? It'll be like an hour of us just being completely silent.
Again, the problem there is if in realistic terms, we've both seen it. So,
As much as one can see that anime.
I mean, I think we might be the first if we actually did it to
We
do.
might be the first to actually watch
No,
it.
no, no. I didn't mean like that. I mean the first if we actually did it to advertise not a reaction but a reaction to something.
Oh, no, I'm sure there's people who've been like, "Oh yeah, I've watched this movie before. Here's my reaction to it right now," or something. But
Oh, that's
whatever.
fair. Actually, I have watched people do that, but I just mean like serial experiments lane is just so thick that like
Yeah,
we would come prepped. Like, yeah, I read all about this episode before I watched it, just to be prepared to try and point out the things that I missed when I actually watched it.
I gotta look to see if anyone's done serial experiments land reaction. Yes, okay, somebody has. Someone is actually that crazy, and they've uploaded literally an entire 45-minute episode of The Mad Lad. Okay. That's just
You
had
sure
to
they
know.
uploaded an entire episode, or did they just like
It's
talk about
for
an episode for 45 minutes?
That's a good question. Either way, it's 45 more minutes that I'm willing to spend on serial experiments land again.
I think a professional reactor doing their absolute best would not have any problem discussing a single episode of Serial Experiments Lane for 45 minutes.
I guess if you like stopped after every scene and went, okay, what just happened here?
Well, no,
Which isn't our thing.
I mean like a breakdown. Like,
Hmm.
okay, here's the themes that were represented in this episode. Here's the background on those themes. Like I've watched people who react to rap
Today I
battles
brought my Hegel book, and we're going to be talking about.
or rap battles. I've watched people who react to rap battles who break down the history of the people that are in the battle, so that you
Mhm.
better understand the disses being tossed at people. So
Right.
yeah, I would not expect anything less from a serious person breaking down Serial Experiments Lane.
Yeah. Alright, well, before we get too far into that again, let's just go ahead and watch the episode. So cool, he spins his keys.
いただきの使ってる銘柄のキャベツ買い占めときました。明日はあいつら料理を作れません。
おお、それはそれは。
I'm surprised those two are on a first name basis with this guy, actually.
Most of the guy on
Like-
the left has a lazy eye.
Like, legit direct goons.
Hey, tomorrow.
Hey!
Not tomorrow for us. I mean, tomorrow from what that last scene was.
小杖、今日のグルフェス来てみないか。今年は
It
す
can
ごい
never
ん
be
だ。
tomorrow for us
優
because
勝
they're a
店
year
は
in the
全
past
国の
to
コンビニ
us.
とコラボしたり、司会が人気芸人
Oh,
の
here's
コラ
the
ボだったんだ
Hikikomori stuff.
Hey, Koda-chan. Love that guy.
そうか。いつでも待ってるからな。
Yeah, Eden of the East, by the way. Any watchers out there haven't watched it before. Great anime about Hikikomori and Neats. Also, I guess welcome to the NHK. Also great for that.
キャベツ買い占められた？
せっかく買い占めたのにな。ターキーさんの考えは俺たちにはわからんな。
I do like the setup and payoff they did for that.
See how lazy eye and his flat is perfectly. His face is perfectly
から
flat.
商店街を地上げしようとしてる奴らだ。くそ、また嫌がらせよ。モンジャングルは完全に黒だな。あちゃー、調べた感じどこの市場もソールドアウトだって。もので何をする気だ。
What do you plan to do with that crowbar? It's like, what do you think?
あんな大量のキャベツ、腐らせでもしたら農家の人ら泣くよ。論点をそらすな。俺は警察組織の関係者だぞ。違法行為を見過ごせるか。
Oh, here we
Oh,
go. Action time. Cast ye in the name of God.
it,
もしもし、きなこ。
どうした？
もしもし、カバ。
桜木から聞いたぞ。キャベツが手に入らないそうだな。
カバちゃんの顔の広さに助けられたぜ。
どこも宝モールにへこまされて参ってる。
That was kind of a
なんと
disappointing
かして
switch out.
い
They
ただ
just
きに
pulled
グ
on
ラン
us,
プリを
the
取ってほしい
viewer.
のさ。
mhm.
でもさ、実行委員なのに俺たちに肩入れしていいのか。
肩入れではない
Griff,。What if they never get superpowers again in the entire run of the anime?
I was just thinking about it. What if this is just continually young adult drama anime and nothing else ever happens again?
They hooked us on 45 minutes of Sentai, and then a
Just
side story that they ripped from Batteries Not Included.
ああ。
Mhm.
Well, I'm glad that there's a second person who's a big fan of my favorite character too, even though she's very depressing.
あら、お出かけ？グルフェスに行く
Oh,
の？
she's not stuck in her room forever. Okay.
Yeah,
She's
she's not a
depressed.
hikikomori. She's just very,
きなこちゃん
Very depressed.
well, I'm gonna say social anxiety or something like that.
Also very possible.
モンジャングルはさ、マニュアル通
I
りの
hear they
味っ
put
て
sugar
感
on
じ
the
じゃん。
lettuce.
んだとくそなんでキャベツを調達できてんだ
ブザーマですよ。
ターキーさん
おたおたしない。勝負はね。
Ah, you were right there,
もうつい
Rick.
てるんですよ。
Well, that's what they said in the beginning, the last one. Not the beginning,
そろそろ
middle
開
of the
票の
last
時
one.
間だ
毎度あり
But yeah, Depressed Girl's dad said it wasn't actually rich.
やったー、やり遂げたよ
Or at least he doesn't want it to be.
こ
No,
れは
I'm saying that's what he said that. I'm not saying it's true.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
just
his
saying he
promise.
said
投
that
票箱それぞれに皆様が投票した箸が入って
because
い
he
ま
also
す
said he saw that he's connected to Green's dad, who's
優
in
勝店のメニューはなんと
charge of something in
全
this
国
town.
のコンビニにコラボメニューが並ぶというまさに24区の顔となる名誉が
A very imprecise voting system
ま
for
ず
sure.
はエントリーナンバーおっと
Yeah, what if you just soaked a bunch of your votes in water?
おお、結構いい点出てんな。
Or put just like a weight into the box. No one's
いた
gonna
だきの
look.
得点は圧倒的だ。
続いては
Also, if he sees his daughter out and actually doing something,
もんじゃ焼きの
might
モン
change
ジ
his
ャング
opinion
ル
as
の出
well.
番となりましたおっとこれは重いですそれでは計測を
Well, we haven't actually seen any numbers yet, so
これをご覧ください
Hey.
モンジャングルは投票箱に重りを仕込むという不正を行いましたよって失格とします
愚かな。
that's a lot of weight when the rest of the thing is filled with wood. The
Yeah,
pieces
the other
of
guy
wood.
was like literally surprised and like wavering. This guy just one-hands it.
Well, no, yeah, the other guy was putting on a show. I just mean, they put a full metal plate on the bottom of their box. And the voting thing are little, like, matchstick things. So it's like...
Yeah, chopsticks, yeah. What a time for it.
So we're not getting jerked around a second time in one episode.
I would genuinely start believing there were no more episodes of action.
Alright, what's the premise of today's Sword Arms call?
And nothing happens.
Is the mob gonna shoot at her? Is that what's gonna happen? The mob can control the weather. How did nobody see a tornado forming or even coming close?
避難を呼びかけるチャンスは一度きり。選択肢は2つ。竜巻に塞がれる前に橋から逃げれば弱者が取り残される。
They're really gonna have to explain how where the tornado fucking comes from.
Oh yeah.
コンテナで弱者を守れば勇気ある者が犠牲になる。どちらを選んでも犠牲者が出ることは避けられない。
Where did clothes go? She was wearing clothes a second ago.
It's the theme of this episode. No clothes.
Obviously, also, they always choose option 3. But they were given 2 options before, and they chose neither of them.
Right, this is what the computer simulation says. People are gonna die no matter what, and now they do their best. Let's see what happens.
Seriously, they're on an island surrounded by nothing. A tornado would be visible from some distance.
I do how they're, like, immediately like, what the hell are we gonna do about a tornado?
Yeah, because they have to find an escape method. Everything's blocked. Also, a tornado could totally lift up a cargo container. Oh, it's gonna be a plan of action that doesn't rely on strength. We're gonna show off somebody else's.
正義のヒーローが悪を懲らしめちゃっただけさ。ええ、はい。それでは白樺先生。どうした？先生。これからこの会場を竜巻が襲います。竜巻？そんなもんどこにも。ハザードキャストの故障です。一刻も早く避難命令を。しかし白樺先生には真摯に訴えることが最短の手だ。俺はもう二度と宝小学校の悲劇を繰り返したくない。
Just go straight for the heart, jeez. Hey, you remember that time when people you cared about died?
Keep summer safe.
橋の向こうに避難させて救う。あのビジョンより多くの人を救ってみせる。キラコ
Skateboard to victory.
どうしたんですか？
これから竜巻が来る。周りの人をかき集めてコンテナの中へ逃げ込んでく
By
れ。
the way, remember how the sky's blue with no clouds, anything?
頼む。コンテナ屋台に逃げ込めば中にいる人間は助かる。
Hoping now this is a
でも屋台
prank
の
call.
絶対数が少ないし、他に避難できるような場所はない。だったら交通システムにアクセスして稼働中のコンテナトレーラーから中身が空のものをピックアップ。こちらの駐車場に集合させる。
Again, a tornado could pick those up.
避難所をクリエイト。弱きを守れないは許されない。
A normal tornado could. A normal tornado could. Maybe not this holographic tornado. It's gonna come from nowhere.
She just loves every type of donut. And now she's locked out.
So people actually work at this thing. That's the computer. That's the computer thing. It doesn't just sit there by itself, I mean.
そちら何か異変がありませんか？
ハザードキャストに何か出たか？
ええ、そのような感じです。
救急車を可能な限り多く手配してくれ。大惨事が起こるかもしれない。
承知しました。
The hazard cast and SARG are the same thing. That's my car, you fucking asshole! You can just push it to the side!
なんだ？事情は聞くけど、一旦警備本部へ。
I appreciate at the very least the sky has gone.
なんで別客連れてきちゃってんだよ。まずい、ぶつかる。
Wave it there's probably a guy in there. Well, not
No, these are automated. He's been hacking.
Okay, I'm about to say.
And now Hazard Cast is coming.
Well, didn't he just now block the road?
Yes, he did.
How's that gonna help?
It won't.
He made things
Also, it was
worse.
driving on the right-hand side of the road. Everyone else was lining up on the left side. Nothing would have
なんてことして
happened.
くれたんだよ。こっちのセリフだ。どうしてこんなことを。はあ？逃げても取り残される奴が出るだけだろ。コンテナトレーラーを持ってきて避難させるのが正解しょ。安全性も保証できないのに無責任なことができるか。逃げる人間を可能な限り増やして逃がすのが俺たちだ。やめろって。言い争ってる場合じゃねえだろ。
この騒ぎはお前たちか RGB。
カボ。
Also, the guy who was driving them in the car last time.
I'm getting real, Batman versus Superman vibes, where his dad sacrifices himself to the tornado.
大人を頼れって。
You know how else would have got sacrificed in that tornado?
見せてやる。
Get into the brick building! What are you doing?
小瀬。小瀬。
カモン。待ってシュウちゃん。ワイヤーつけないと。
小津今いいか小津来てくれたんだなありがとう残念だが祭りは中止ださあ帰ろう
Better hope that rope's long enough you're going to die to your own physical strength.
行けシュウちゃん。大丈夫だ。間に合う。カバー。
シュート小瀬を頼む
And they're dead.
Well, I mean, we've already seen like 10 people die in the tornado.
シュウちゃん。もうワイヤーが。
Oh my gosh, it's come back. Batman versus Superman. Father Kent sacrifices himself. Damn, this is like
21 people
super
dead.
downer.
Yeah, 21 people dead. Like I said, they didn't.
130人以上が重傷とのことです。気象庁の発表によりますと、発生した竜巻の規模は
They found a third way for people to die.
橋で逃げるか、コンテナに隠れるか、未来を選べた。確実な方を選ぶべきだったんじゃん。違う。みんなが協力して別の未来を目指していれば。結果カバちゃんは。俺たちが白樺先生を殺したんだ。
It's literally a natural disaster. It's not anyone's fault.
No, it is their fault because they had forewarning and tried to act against it. Oh, hold on.
Another voice.
なんだこれ。
テレビの故障
24区の皆さん、こんにちは。竜巻ショーは楽しんでいただけたか。
He's claiming the tornado was
我が
his.
名はカルネアです。世界に未来の選択を突きつけるもの。
Okay, supervillain.
Yeah, this show's taking a really weird turn, but I guess he does follow the whole Power Rangers enemy look, so... But yeah, no, what I was saying before is that it is kind of their fault. They had forewarning and the time to plan, and it's their bad planning and fighting one another that caused those people to die.
I mean, it's the natural disaster responsibility thing. No one is responsible for an act of God, but
An act of
because
God
their
can't be
actions,
predicted.
they still helped more people live, even if they didn't perfectly save everyone from a natural disaster.
It's their negligence that caused 21 extra people to die. It's not... You can't call an act of God when you have an act of God working on your side. Because normal people don't have forewarning. These three had forewarning and acted to prevent it, and then third acted against the other third to prevent their aid, which means that they actively, through the negligence of fighting one another,
Right.
prevented those other people from being saved.
Right, that's the theme of this episode. They aren't cooperating enough, and they need to do so in the future if they want to actually succeed. It's not just a gimme that they will actually win. Which I think was like something you were thinking about earlier, where it's like, oh yeah, they'll just constantly save everyone and always be successful. It's like, nope, they can totally fuck up.
Right. I'm just saying that they are responsible in this case, as they said themselves,
Mhm.
because it's their fault that one of the plans didn't go through, that they had to make a third plan to compensate for their own infighting.
But you were wondering like where the tornado come from. Turns out there's someone actually responsible for it. We weren't just being facetious.
Well,
It
see, I
turns out it's real.
could have done without that guy. I mean, I'm saying
Oh yeah.
the fact that it slowly started turning into like a dark and stormy situation. Tornadoes do build up that fast, so that was believable. Didn't need a supervillain to be behind it.
Real story, like couple years ago, perfectly sunny, not cloudy day at all. Just tornado across the Walmart parking lot. There's absolutely rarely ever any here. Like that's like a freak phenomena. It just fucking happened.
Yeah, I'm on Hurricane Alley. Hurricanes create tornadoes. But
I
no, I
think
mean, when I was a kid up in Maryland, on my, I guess, uncle or, yeah, uncle something, he has a horse farm up there. I was a real little kid. Sunny day, suddenly storm starts blowing in, everyone says, run inside. I got to the front door, grabbed the handle, wind just picks me up, and I'm just feet not touching the air for like, I don't
wow,
know, 10 seconds before I got dropped back down and just ran inside. So yeah, I mean,
nice,
it just comes
good
up on
save.
you. But I just mean that when they were being warned, blue skies, they have perfectly open visibility. So it's like, how would anybody be surprised at a tornado hitting them?
Right. Still, I think like the antagonist here is interesting. Like it means that like these constant trolley problems aren't just like spontaneously happening in perfect sequence. Like no, someone's literally just setting it up and going like, "Hey, you can't save everyone."
The most interesting way that this could play out to me is if that guy doesn't actually exist.
That would be funny too. I mean, he's only been on the television so
I
far.
don't mean the funny. I mean like if he is also the machine. If the machine is like if what if the girl in the very first minute of the very first episode is the machine and
Hmm.
she is just like I'm bored or whatever reason she's a ditzy funny girl as we've seen in the first minute like she says random stuff falls over ah ha ha.
Hmm.
What if she's bored for whatever reason, don't take bored as it, and she decides I'm going to use the powers that have been given to me to give these three powers, and I'm just going to pretend to be this girl that died. That will give them a motivating force. Girl can predict the future. I mean, the machine can predict the future. So obviously, if these people were going to do something with the power given to them, she would know it with a
Hmm.
percentage accuracy. And then what if the same thing that creates a Sumi ghost then creates a villain for them to fight? And neither of these things shall ever actually be touched or interacted with. It's all through the power of simulation.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I'm not sure if it's going anywhere because we don't have like evidence yet, but it's an interesting theory.
That's the only evidence I have is the things that we've seen, i.e.,
Hmm.
unexplained girl in the first minute of episode 1, a Sumi ghost, which, I mean, the father of the person who's running the company that the machine operates for is the, wow, I just stopped dead air. I mean, the machine belongs to the father who runs everything in Sarg. And Hazard, was it Hazard Crisis? Hazard, what's it called?
Sarge.
No, Hazard Crisis,
Uh,
Hazard
crisis
Crisis
unit.
is, or whatever, Hazard something is the response unit that works along with Sarge, but they're part of the same company.
Hmm.
No, Hazard Crisis was the machine's name, wasn't it?
I don't know. Like, I think, like you said, I thought it was like the name of the hazard response people.
No, I think they refer to it like Hazard Crisis is offline, Hazard Crisis isn't responding to the thing, right? Something like that. I think Hazard Crisis is the name of the machine. Like, it's the predictive model thing that's building everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if there would be any connection there, the machine might be the you remember Resident Evil, the Red Queen?
No, because I'm not actually that familiar with Resident Evil, unfortunately.
Oh, the underground facility underneath Raccoon City. It's
Mhm.
the research facility for Umbrella Corps, and it has an AI that runs it called the Red Queen, and the Red Queen has a holographic model, and it's the daughter of the guy who like runs Umbrella Corps or something like that.
Mhm. Right. Okay. Um. So yeah. So I'm trying to put my thoughts together. We did get our action finally. Villain reveal. What is there anything we didn't cover?
Again, I don't think the super villain is the real villain. I still think the Construction Corporation is the actual villain,
Uh,
and the super villain is fake.
uh
I
I
would
still
really
wanted to see
will.
Red commit crime.
I really will hate if we open up next episode, and it's just a commercial for an actual Sentai show in universe. Everyone just looked up at it because it was loud, and then coming next season, and blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
Oh gosh. It would be hilarious if there's just a whole episode of like, wait a second, someone copyrighted us.
I mean, in fairness, they already faked us out once. Why wouldn't they try and fake us out again?
Oh, it'd be pretty funny.
I mean,
All right.
Kaba, the guy who died, is the one who simultaneously called them all
Mhm.
before in the first fake out.
All right. Well, I think we've gone ahead and hit the end of topics here. So this is going to be the end. This has been Stoneface Reaction. I'm Griffin. This is Theta, and we'll catch you guys next time. See ya. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?